At first glance, Buddhism and business appear incompatible. One emphasizes detachment from desire, while the other is built around profit growth and competition. Yet Buddhist ethics does not reject economic activity. Instead, it offers a deeper foundation for it based on mindfulness, interdependence, and long-term well-being. This paradox lies at the heart of Buddhist economics. Intangible values, such as awareness, compassion, and responsibility, are seen as having direct and measurable effects on the material world, shaping a new economic paradigm built on trust, sustainability, and social cohesion. Although China is officially a secular state with an atheist ideology, Buddhism, together with Taoism and Confucianism, has been deeply embedded in Chinese culture for more than 2,000 years. Estimates suggest that between 180 and 250 million people in China identify with Buddhism either through active practice or cultural affiliation. This long tradition helps explain why Buddhist-inspired economic thinking continues to resonate across East Asia. The origins of Buddhist economics. The concept of Buddhist economics was first articulated by E.F. Schumacher, a German-born British economist. In his 1966 essay, Buddhist economics, later included in Small is Beautiful. Schumacher contrasted Western economic models focused on profit maximization with a Buddhist approach aimed at reducing suffering and developing human potential. Based on his experience working in Asian developing countries, he argued that work in Buddhism serves three purposes. It allows people to develop their abilities, helps them overcome ego through cooperation, and produces goods and services necessary for a dignified life. From this idea emerged not only Buddhist economics, but later Buddhist finance, applying ethical principles to investment banking, corporate governance, and personal finance. Interdependence. Instead of ego-centered growth, a central Buddhist insight is the rejection of an ego-centered worldview. Modern consumer-driven economies often weaken social bonds, generate ecological crises, and contribute to widespread psychological distress. According to the World Health Organization, more than 1 billion people suffer from anxiety and depression. Buddhism views the self not as an isolated entity, but as a flow of interdependent processes. This means individual well-being cannot exist independently from society and nature. This idea is reflected in the Japanese concept of sanpo-yoshi, meaning benefit for three sides. Originating among merchants between the 16th and 19th centuries, it holds that a successful transaction must benefit the buyer, the seller, and society. Today, this philosophy is still applied by corporations such as Itochu as a strategy for sustainable business, rather than a purely moral ideal. Work, business, and responsibility. In Buddhist thought, work is not a burden, but a form of service and self-realization. When entrepreneurs embed honesty, care for customers, and respect for partners into their businesses, economic activity becomes a form of compassion. Value is created through product quality, fair labor conditions, environmental responsibility, and contribution to education. This integrity strengthens resilience and social relevance. Eastern and Western economic models. Western economics traditionally emphasizes endless competition and profit maximization. Buddhist philosophy proposes an economy of interdependence guided by the middle way, avoiding both excessive consumption and rigid asceticism. In practice, this can be seen in shifts towards sustainable tourism and responsible development that protect ecosystems, sacred sites, and local communities, reflecting the principle of non-violence. Japanese corporations such as Toyota and Keio Corporation have long integrated Buddhist-inspired values into corporate culture. Toyota's 5S methodology emphasizes discipline, respect, and order, while Keio promotes harmony, health, and beauty as core principles tied to planetary well-being. Finance, ecology, and the future. Another major difference lies in attitudes toward nature. While Western models often treat forests, rivers, and land as resources, Buddhist economics views them as living systems deserving respect. This ecological worldview, grounded in interdependence and nonviolence, encourages responsible environmental action. Buddhist leaders consistently call for sustainability and personal responsibility for the planet. Many Buddhist organizations actively support ESG investing, particularly in Japan and South Korea. Financial mindfulness practices are also spreading with individuals, reflecting on how spending affects both inner well-being and the wider world. Buddhist economics is not a utopia. It is a practical ethical framework applicable today. By emphasizing mindful consumption, ethical work, long-term thinking, and social capital, it reframes the economy as a system meant to serve people and nature rather than dominate them. In an era of global ecological and social crises, this perspective is becoming increasingly relevant.